Hi, welcome to another edition of Social News Interviews. I'll be your host today, E-Rock Christopher. And in today's episode, we're excited to be discussing the recent rise of social media and how it spawned an entire industry, a new trend called influencer marketing. With companies looking to capitalize upon the opportunity, people everywhere looking to become influencers, and so we wanted to be able to discuss this new trend with a membership website expert. This gentleman is making a bold claim that influencers are leaving money on the table, but they're also not giving as much value as they potentially could to their customers, audiences, and following. With that being said, we'd like to discuss his perspective on this issue of influencer marketing. The co-founder of Memberium, a membership website expert, none other than Micah Mitchell. Micah, welcome to today's episode.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, awesome. Well, again, with the recent rise of influencer marketing, people everywhere are using social media to create massive followings, audiences, and trying to provide amazing value on whatever topic or expert they happen to be on. And you're making the bold claim that they're potentially not only leaving money on the table, but potentially not even offering as much value as they could be with their followings. Would you care to explain your perspective?
Sure, of course. So somebody who is, let's say, a leader on one of the platforms, maybe it's Instagram or whatever combination of platforms they have, that's just the first part of their business. They've been able to generate a following, they've become an influencer. Really building a membership site is the next logical step because they can create an area where their customers and leads and the people who they want to really lead and create a tribe out of, they can make an area for that person to come into and go through their content. And they can charge them for it. They can offer it as something free to supplement something else that they're selling to that customer, or they can use it to generate leads. But it just gives them a lot more control and ownership over their own intellectual property, and they can leverage it in a bunch of different ways.
Well, Micah, one of the reasons we wanted to interview you is our research team has discovered that you're actually in the process, or that you have actually recently launched a membership mentoring system, basically a comprehensive guide to helping people to build and create membership websites. And we believe it's called membership.coach. So not membershipcoach.com, but membership coach. Have you already launched this program? And if so, why did you create it?
So, so the first question, we did launch the program just recently in the last couple of weeks. So it was just at the end of last month. And it did really well, so we got our first batch of customers, and now our next step is really to nurture and take care of those customers. And we built the program in the first place to take care of our other customers. So we have a software called Memberium, and it's kind of a little bit further along, it's more mature, and so we wanted a supplemental program that people can come into and they can learn how to use the software and learn best practices about membership sites in general. So it's really just, practicing what I preach when I say that you can leverage your intellectual property further. That's exactly what we just did. We created a new stream of revenue for it, and it's going to help our existing customers. So giving customers of another product free access to membership sites is just an example of how you can really differentiate yourself from your competitors and stand out.
Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing your perspective on that. And so, Micah, as a leading membership website expert, would you mind sharing a little bit about how you were able to start Memberium, why you started it, and maybe a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So I was able to start Memberium because I've got a great partner, his name is David Bullitt, who wrote the code and came to me with it, offering me a chance to use it for free, and I said, hey, we should sell this. And so we decided to do that, and I've been doing it for a little over 3 years. But I'm not the software creator at all. I don't write any code. Dave is the man with that stuff. I do the marketing, and I help create the documentation, the videos that show people how to use the software. And really what's helped Memberium is that the software is there, but really we're showing people how to use it and what to do based on their business, and not just traditional information marketing businesses, but all sorts of businesses can use membership sites, even if it's just to train their own internal team at any type of business, it can be used.
Well, awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that information with our audience, Micah. So with that being said, with Memberium, it's not enough anymore that companies can just offer a fantastic product or service. Nowadays, people are looking for companies that they can believe in, that maybe have common shared values that are going to be here to last the long haul. And so with that being said, Micah, Would you mind sharing what some of your core values are at Memberium?
Yeah, I'd love to. So we actually went through a period of time where we were trying to really decide on this once and for all. We're a fairly new company. And we looked at, okay, we have a piece of software. Are we a software company? Or it works with this one platform? Are we a company that works with only that one platform? And we actually decided that we're a membership company. And so our company purpose, the way we stated it, is to empower leaders globally to connect with their tribe, or in other words, their audience. So just kind of empower them through tools, through training, through everything we've got to connect with their tribe. And then some of our core values, and I've got mine on the wall here, so I might have to look over at them. But the first one is easier is better. So we're always trying to make the software easier to use. We're always trying to make even the membership experience when people go through training, make that easier and more enjoyable. Because we're just trying to give people a good product, basically, right? So the first one is easier is better. I don't know if you want to go through all of them, but we measure our success by our community success. And that is our community of customers, our community of partners, the other software companies around us. We basically feel like it's a kind of an integrated atmosphere, and so we measure our success by everyone's success. Because when they do better, so do we. Next, produce together to make things better, and the real key word there is together, meaning that there's a whole team behind it. I do as much as I can, but really, on any given team, there are people who do a lot more than I do in a given area and for the company, so it's definitely a team effort. Next, optimize experiences. This comes down to, again, we like to make things easier. We also like to optimize them, so we can also eliminate steps, make things more detailed in their instructions, especially with the software as an example, and with our membership site, optimizing it with analytics, seeing how many people are finishing which courses and sending them stuff to help them finish up. So we do kind of implement this stuff all the time, but we're always also working on it. Next is work and learn with passion. And one of the key words there is the learning. So we have to work, obviously, but we're a company that focuses on learning. And I'll go off on a tangent for just 1 second and say I came into a call with somebody on the team who was telling someone else on the team that they were hired because we weren't looking for the smartest people. And I thought that doesn't sound good. I came into the call at the wrong time. But basically, they were having a conversation. They went on to say, we hire the people who can learn the fastest because most of this you can pick up, and most of it nobody knows already. So, next, we embrace partnerships. That's evidenced by the fact that we give free licenses to all Infusionsoft certified partners, Infusionsoft employees. As we go into new markets, we'll do the same thing. So we want them to use our software and to talk to us and to basically do a connection with us, whether they're getting paid or not, especially with partnerships. So we love partnering. Next is respect for everyone, and that just means that obviously with customers, with partners, and all of our business dealings, but also within the business with all of our team. So that's kind of our core values. Together, they all, if you spell them down, spell the word empower, so it just kind of reinforces that what we're trying to do. And there's a lot of choices, a lot of small choices we make with that in mind already, so it's kind of fun.
Well, awesome. So thank you for sharing some of your core values with us, Micah. And I'd like to put you on the spot here for a little bit, because a lot of companies might codify or articulate their core values. But would you mind sharing with our audience maybe some examples of how your company has exemplified those core values when working with some of Memberium's client-based customers or partners?
Yeah, definitely. So, for example, optimizing experiences. We talk every single day at length about the support experience that people receive when they come in, how their questions are answered, how soon it's answered, depending on the type of question, what process we follow. And so we are optimizing the experience of contacting support all the time. One of our other core values, easier is better, we installed, or I should say, Dave coded in an installer to Memberium that walks you through the steps of getting your first membership site started. So it used to be, you put in this software and you kind of have to figure out what to do. There's no paint by numbers necessarily. Now there kind of is, and it just takes you through a few steps. It's not too complicated, it's just about getting the basics set up. But in the product, in our support, everywhere we can go, in our marketing, for example, embracing partnerships, we're sponsoring a PartnerCon event in Phoenix in just a couple of months here, just again to embrace that they have the theme, the year of the partner, and so we sponsor their partner event, just to kind of help them out and be a good partner, basically, right? So there's a couple examples. Customer-wise, this really, I guess I would say it comes out in our community success, that we measure our success by our community success, because we have some of the most successful membership site owners as customers, and they do really well. They do large launches, and a lot of them in the mid-range, some of them just getting started too, but a lot of the big names use Memberium. And so when we see them using it and doing well with it, and when we're also serving the middle of the market and they're having success and telling us about getting hundreds of members, for example, when they launch, we can celebrate that with them. So as we look at our community success, that's what we see, and that's what we measure ourselves by.
Well, awesome. So thank you for sharing some of the examples of how Memberium has leveraged their core values and actually implement them with your customer base. So, Micah, a lot of people get really excited about the potential to be able to create revenue streams, 4 figures, 5 figures, even 6 figures a month. The potential sounds fantastic, but a lot of people might be hesitant or skeptical as to whether or not this is really a realistic opportunity to do that using membership websites. Would you mind sharing with our audience some examples of some of your clients who built membership websites using Memberium and have gone on to create some of these amazing recurring passive incomes of 4, 5, even 6 figures a month?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say it's going to depend on what market you're in. So when we talk about those who are successful, if you just have a job today and you go and you start a membership site about how to be a better employee at Arby's, not really going to do that well, right? So it kind of starts off with who you are, and that's why social media influencers, most of them, they're influencers because they create good stuff, because they're good at what they do, right? They're specialized and they're passionate. For a membership site owner, it's the same thing. Now, it doesn't have to be as maybe glamorous as an Instagram star. For example, you can have attorneys, tax attorneys, we've had immigration attorneys, I'm sure a bunch of other kinds that I don't know about, but just that I've worked with personally, that they put a lot of the content into the site that they would have to sit and just save to a client. And so they'll go and record some of that stuff, some of the basic stuff, put it in a membership site, and it's a client privilege. And some of them do it that way where it's just a client privilege. Some of them are able to sell that outside of it, as long as they've got their legal stuff in order around selling that type of advice. But again, it doesn't have to be something flashy. Some of them are. There's a couple sites about drumming, there's sites about guitar. But what I would say is, if it's something that people spend money on, so there's hobbies, music, pets, that people spend more money on than other hobbies, right? There are, in the business world, I think, a ton of opportunities. So if you're anything business to business, if that's what your company does, you might have an opportunity to make a membership site. You can either make a membership site to train other businesses like you on how to run the business, or you can make a membership site that meets the needs of your core client already, right? And typically, a lot of that is intellectual property. That's what a lot of businesses build up, and so you can just leverage that. And again, if you're not a major training company, you don't have to think, oh, I got to sell these multi-$1,000 courses. You can just make a simple membership site and sell it for a few $100 here and there, and you may only make sales here and there. It's not your core business, but it's extra money. Now, if it is your core business, then there's kind of a different path. And again, as long as you're really, really good at what you do and you're ready to stick it out, there's different business models you can follow to, make the money you want to make, depending on how much you want to commit into the membership site. And a lot of people overcommit too early.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your insights about that, Micah. And so people typically love to share and boast about their success stories. However, most entrepreneurs are typically not wanting to be quite as transparent, maybe not admitting to some of the failures or mistakes that they've made in the past. And so, Micah, with that being said, would you like to take this opportunity to share with your audience maybe some of the mistakes that you've made in the past when it comes to maybe building out membership websites or even in your own business? And then also, what lessons did you learn from them?
Yeah, sure. So I've had plenty of failures. I could go on all day, but one of the main ones that's really relevant is the first membership site I started. And this is an example of, your market's not really going to support the effort it takes to build a membership site. I built out a membership site called UtahBallroom.com. So it's for ballroom dancing people in Utah only. So obviously that's too niche. It's not a good membership site, right? And I think I eventually sold the domain for maybe it was like $50 to somebody who wanted it. So not a good business. And it was a learning experience to build the site. But around that time, I had several other failures. I was just getting started. I had a lawn care company. We grew for a couple of years and it was doing pretty good. And then we let it fail for a couple of reasons. One, I found out before the end of the year that we hadn't been billing several key clients in one of our best areas. And that's the most stupid mistake in the world for me not to catch as the owner. Like every week or month for a year, seeing things kind of get out of balance. Finding that out at the end was an awkward conversation to have with the clients, and frankly, we didn't collect a lot of that. So that business was terrible. Don't get into landscaping, right? That's a lot of work. But I admire the people who do it. It's just a lot of work. I could go on with the failures, but I mean, having a business kind of basically go out of business. So my first site was a total dud, and I could never sell anything for it. I put a lot of work into it. Like I said, there's more, but those are two pretty big ones.
So would you say that's been your biggest or most embarrassing moment in business?
Actually, so my most embarrassing moment was probably yet another mistake where I had a client coming on kind of as a prospective client when we did custom work, and they wanted all this stuff, and I thought, wow, this is amazing, you know, and it showed up really well, they dressed really well. The guy's got like his model wife running around with him, and they always couldn't make payments because they were traveling in Europe, and the bank wouldn't let them wire from here to there. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get paid, this is fine. Well, long story short, I had not just not gotten paid, but put out of pocket about $22,000 paying my team and for things in relation to this project, and they ultimately never paid anything and disappeared. And so I ended up having to let a few people go, which for anyone who owns a business, that's tragic. It's like not the best day. Had to move out of that office. So a huge hit in, you know, missing that revenue and spending all the stuff to try to earn it was not good. And the advice I got at the end of it, which I'll just share because I thought it was good, at least for me, is somebody told me you're not a bank. And it sounds really simple, but they were like, if they need financing, have them go to their bank or use their credit card or anything else. You don't need to finance them. They pay up front, or if it's giant chunks of the work, or if they pay up front in full, great, but you're not a bank. Like, you don't do financing. And I was just like, oh. And that really helped me. That was a step along the way, but a hard lesson to learn.
Wow. Micah, thank you for being so transparent, honest about your past experiences and what you've learned from them. And so if you're just joining us here today, you're watching Social News Interviews, and we're here today with membership website expert, the co-founder of Memberium.com, Micah Mitchell. And so one of the things that we've learned from our research, Micah, is that Memberium currently supports an end user base or an array of subscribers across all your membership website customers of over 8 million users, which is just phenomenal and amazing. With that being said, who would you say is an ideal customer for Memberium?
So an ideal customer is somebody who really wants to package up what they know and sell it, and either sell it as a course, even if you want to sell it as you'll do group coaching, like you'll talk to a large group of people once a month. But if you're in a business, especially where you're, let's say, you're getting paid $250 an hour or more, going through appointments or churning through work like that can be difficult, whereas some of that work is repetitive. And there's enough of it that you can put into videos or some other type of content and then sell online to a membership site. You are adding revenue to your business, but you're also adding a piece of the business that's automated. That's one thing that's nice, is every time you make a 97 or 197 or 297 sale, you can just keep doing whatever you were doing at the time. You know, no sweat off your back, right? It's not another client to serve. It's just a sale with money. And so there's degrees, I would say, of how much people can use it. But somebody who has a ton of content, even if they already have a membership site, they might look at redoing it or improving it, because the return on investment compared to most businesses is really impressive. You know, being able to just create content into a video, put it in a site and sell it, rather than having to manufacture something or do a service appointment at a specific date and time at a place with equipment, right? It's a good business, honestly, and if you can add it into your business, I'd encourage you to.
Awesome. So thank you for sharing that, Micah. So based on our research, we discovered that there's a lot of competition in the membership website software industry in your particular niche. How would you say Memberium compares to the competition? I mean, you obviously would know who those software companies are. So would you mind sharing us how Memberium compares to other membership software solutions?
Yeah, first of all, there are no other software solutions. No, I would say a couple of our competitors who are really good. One of them is called Customer Hub, And it's actually a membership solution provided by Infusionsoft. And Customer Hub is good for a beginner user. Like everything's included in Customer Hub. It goes to videos and the files, and they do all that. But except for a beginning user, there are some limitations. And so the way we compare to Customer Hub is mostly, well, it's great for beginners. It's simplified. If you use Memberium, though, you have total control and flexibility. And something like Customer Hub, for example, they even control the URL. So your site is whatever.customerhub.net. It's not your own website. And that's one of the things Memberium can do, is brand your site better for you. So Customer Hub's a big one. We have a lot more flexibility. Branding is a big factor there, but a lot more flexibility on top of that. Another competitor of ours, let's say Access Ally is another one, and they kind of go for ease of use. Meaning it is a WordPress plugin, more like us, so you can have your own domain, but they're focused on using their learning management system and kind of their theme, and they provide a lot of stuff which is cool to get started quickly. But again, on the flexibility and control, Memberium just offers a lot more. And that's why a lot of the major internet marketing brands use Memberium, because they need that control. And they need the flexibility to do what they want. Those are just a couple of examples, but hopefully that gives an idea.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Micah. And of course, being the co-founder of Memberium, a top membership website solution that helps people to build their membership communities, you're going to say great things about your product and service. And so again, with it being a competitive marketplace, if someone were to be watching this video and trying to decide on a solution to build membership websites, what would you say, Micah, is the unique selling proposition and key differentiators that would make Memberium the top or the choice for that particular influencer or person?
So it's kind of whether or not they qualify. And what I mean by that is Memberium only works with Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign, one of those two CRMs or kind of database management systems, and WordPress, which is where someone will put their website. So it's a little bit, there's a lot of solutions, but some of them serve only little areas. There's also some online websites. And so if I was just getting started today, like if I kind of rewound it and had to go out and search and find, I would say that it depends on your level. There's Udemy, which is udemy.com. That's where you can go and publish a course yourself, but they sell it. It's branded as Udemy. It's just got your name on it. You sell it. You can make money. But if you have any success with that, it's like, well, definitely you should make a membership site. So that's maybe a place even to start. And yeah, I'm totally biased for Memberium. I'm not going to hide that. But the funny thing is, again, we only work with a very small subset. So hopefully people can, find value in some of the other stuff we create, like membership.coach. But if you are using, this is where when you go out and you look for a solution for yourself, it's kind of like, well, if you're in business, what softwares are you already using? Because the membership site should be automated. It needs to be part of that business, right? It needs to kind of be able to send orders into the accounting system and turn somebody off if they don't pay, all that kind of stuff.
Well, awesome. So thanks for sharing your unique selling propositions and your key differentiators, Micah. So one of the things that we've discovered when researching across different forums, that software solution companies are typically notorious for their support, or rather the lack thereof. And so how would you respond to this as the owner of Memberium, a software as a service company? And if someone needs additional support, extra hand-holding, how much does Memberium charge for additional or ongoing or extra support?
So for our support, that's something where we feel really proud about it, actually. Like a lot of people do see it as an expense or maybe something that they wouldn't want every interaction to be public, but we love support. We love our guys who do support. We work on it every single day. That's one of the experiences we find most to optimize because it's part of our overall ease of use. Like if support's easy, you get a good answer and it works, and software works, and you get where you want to go, that's fantastic. So we actually in Infusionsoft's marketplace, it's at marketplace.infusionsoft.com, you can go in there and look at Memberium and you can see all the reviews. We've got over 100 and I don't even know now, like 160-ish 5-star reviews in there, and it's always growing of people just raving about our support. So we love providing support, but we do draw a line between support and sales. So when you ask, how much can they get, or if they want more help, how much is it? We actually don't do services. So we draw a line. We say, we'll support you by saying, hey, this is how it works. I can even help you get it set up and test it a little bit. We don't build sites for people, so somebody can't pay us for time. And what we do to offset that is we have a growing partner community. So we've got Memberium certified partners, I think about 60 now, if all of them pass through the course that they just started. But they have to pass a course and become certified in how to use it. So if you do need extra help, we can refer you to a partner, and there's all sorts of different specialties there which can come in handy for you as well.
Awesome. So it's great to hear that you're providing additional ongoing support for Memberium customers and not worrying about charging them extra for that. And to clarify, Micah, does Memberium offer any sort of custom done-for-you services or solutions?
We don't. So
okay.
It's all
Awesome. Well, thank you for clarifying that. And so you referenced having built a community of Memberium certified partners. And let's say an influencer does want to go out and they do want to create a membership site, or an expert wants to be able to mentor others on their expertise. How would one go about choosing somebody to build a Memberium-based website for their particular products or services?
So if it were me, again, I would go in and I would write what I want really clearly, and then maybe send it to several of them. I believe in kind of a numbers game. So I would write up what I want, and I would send it to 3 or 4, maybe even 5 or 6, and just say, hey, are you able to do this? If so, what would it cost? How long would it take? Can you send me examples of something like this that you've done before? And where this is just an email that you can turn into kind of a form letter, meaning you write it once and you just send it to 5 or 6 people. You'll see what you get back, and then you can talk to them. And I would definitely suggest going and talking to a lot of people, because in this small business space, those partners are going to range from a business with 10, 20, 30 or more employees to a business with maybe just one person. Some person might be a certified partner. And so for some people, that's great. They want somebody who can be really flexible, working with a freelancer like that. Other businesses, their needs are such that they really need design and copywriting and technology all in-house, and so they'll go with one of the bigger ones. So we're working on restructuring that center to make it a little bit easier to see that automatically. But for now, I'd say just talk to several partners, and also talk to us. You can always email Memberium support at memberium.com, and just ask, say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you recommend a few partners? And what we'll do is we'll recommend a handful, because we still want you to choose between, but fit what you want to do.
Fantastic. So Micah, let's say someone is interested in building a membership website. Let's say, again, it's an influencer in the social media world, an expert who wants to share their knowledge and wisdom with others. What advice or tips would you give to those individuals before they actually begin the process of building out a membership website?
Oh, man. Yeah, good question. So I would say test the idea, and there's different ways to do that. But for example, before you build a whole membership website about whatever it is, let's say singing in the opera, right? And you can make the best membership site ever that can train anybody who's singing in the opera. Before you do it, just to see if people would actually pay for it, first of all, write a report, an article about singing in the opera. See how much traction it gets compared to stuff you usually do. And if it does have a favorable response, maybe do a webinar or a call about singing in the opera. Charge $97 for a 2-hour group training about singing in the opera. And if people buy it, you're starting to see this pattern that there's a need there, and it's worth you putting the energy into a membership site. Because, like I said, I am biased. I love Memberium. I love selling membership site software. But if you're not ready for a membership site, in a lot of ways, if you're not ready, or if the market doesn't want to buy it, don't do it. Because the worst thing is to build a good membership site, meaning put a lot of time and energy into it, make it nice, and then go out to try to sell it and have nobody buy it, or even have 2 people buy it, because then you're on the hook to maintain this nice membership site at high cost for only a couple members. So that's what I would say. Before you go start a membership site, test your idea. Try a paid webinar, try a paid report, try free reports and free webinars before that. Depending on the size of market and how conditioned they are to buy from you and some of those things, try things out first, because if they work, then you can really go into that membership site with a lot of confidence, gain some information in the process of making that for lead content, right? And you can include it in the membership site. But I would get started and do it in a more natural way for sure.
Fantastic insights, Micah. And if you're just joining us here today, we're on another edition of Social News Interviews. We're here with membership website expert and co-founder of Memberium, Micah Mitchell. And so, Micah, let's say that someone is ready to start the research phase. They've tested their idea. They found that there's a need in the marketplace for their training, their courses, etc. And so as an insider, as a top membership website expert, what advice could you give as far as, let's say a prospect is looking to make the investment in a website software solution? As an insider, what are some of the questions that they should be asking? Maybe they don't know everything they need to know to ask the right questions. What insights could you share as far as what potential influencers and experts should be asking when it comes to choosing the right membership website software?
So, yeah, I would, again, look at the tech stack, look at the other stuff you have and what it has to work with. And you can check with them. You can say, hey, does this stuff work together? You can do your own research too, but test who you're going to hire to build it and ask them what they can find about it or if they have any experience with it. But after just making sure it's going to fit with your technology, I would make sure it's got room to grow, because a lot of people, they'll buy what they can think of initially, what they need for today, which is great. I like starting quick and keeping it simple. But if they know already that in 6 months or a year, if it works, they're going to need these other features, don't get a solution that doesn't have those. You need to have that flexibility so you don't get stuck, because a lot of people get stuck on technology. And there's different kinds, right? Some people, it's easy for them to make content. Some people, it's easy for them to handle the technology. But if you're one of those people who's going to get hung up on the technology, just start as simple as you can, right?
Right. So, Micah, let's say that they've made the investment, they're ready to start building out a membership website, and let's say that they've made the investment with Memberium. So how long would you say, on average, that an influencer or an expert could build out an effective membership website from scratch using Memberium?
Gotcha. So if they keep it simple and don't keep adding features over time, because we've seen some that kind of plateau out and take a while because they keep adding, I would say if you have anybody on your team who's experienced with the web or WordPress under 30 days, if you're really experienced, you can launch one of these things in a week, because just building it out is really not that hard. Knowing how to build it out is kind of the factor there. There's a bit of a learning curve, but there's also a wizard. So if some people just go with the wizard. They just go in and they go with the wizard and they put in their simple little tiny bit of content, and they can get that done rather quickly. They still have to build the sales funnel and some of the other things, but that's what it's like. If you're somewhat experienced and you have your content ready, you can throw together the site rather quickly. But then people can take a lot of time customizing a lot of things about it, and that makes it, it can take quite a while. So I would aim at under a month. If you're experienced, probably under a week to build the site. If you're brand new at this and you have to do everything from scratch, you might be looking at a couple months.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Micah. And so, based again on the research that our teams discovered, currently Memberium is supporting literally thousands of membership websites as a software, which in turn provides information, education, and courses to over 8 million end users and subscribers worldwide. So very impressive, and obviously one of the reasons why you would be a top membership website expert. With that being said, what are some of the most beneficial tips, tricks, or strategies that you can recommend to someone who has built their membership website and is getting ready to launch it, and then they're after launch scaling it into a successful enterprise?
Okay, so yeah, if you've got it built and you're just going to launch, there's so much to the sales process. But if you think you're going to end up with over 100 members, one of the big tips there is to build on a community once you get over 100 members. And that can be a Facebook group, it can be a forum, some way for members to interact with each other, basically to provide each other value so that you're kind of getting some leverage out of that. So that is one of the biggest tips, I guess, of keeping the members on. Now, selling them, converting them, that's a whole other area, the sales aspect of a membership site. But getting in some people for free on the front end, making them offer to buy more content if they like it, keeping it that simple. A lot of people have success with that, because if something simple like that doesn't work, it probably means that your copy, kind of the stuff you're saying or the headline in some of the copywriting that's being done in your marketing and sales isn't that great. So I would keep it simple, focus on the copy. To get those sales, to keep them, I would have a community.
Awesome. Thank you for, again, sharing that great insights and information, Micah. So, again, having supported thousands of membership websites, platforms, and people who are using Memberium, what can you share with our audience as far as what might be some effective pricing tips when building out a membership website and, of course, scaling it into a profitable business model?
Yeah, so I would say you want to be selling a core membership level that's around $100. And that's a really broad rule of thumb. And what I mean by that is it could be $100, like $97. It could be maybe $19.95 a month. But in that middle range, you should be able to, like, you can position your core product in that middle range. And that way, once you get 100 members, 200 members, and so on, it's significant. But what I would say when you're first getting started, when you can't get something like that to work, there's something called a barbell strategy. And that's when instead of pricing in the middle, you price at the end. So if you imagine a barbell, it's big on the outside and skinny in the middle. On this side, on the short side, you make it as cheap as you can. It's a trial, it's $1, first month is whatever, you discount. And on this other end of it, the high end of it, you basically go up in price. So if you were going to do a $97 a month thing, you can try it as a $9.97 or a $19.97. One of those bigger courses, because part of the purchasing process is just the perceived value of price has a lot to do with it. So I would just kind of remember to make it simple, the barbell, right? Go on either the cheap end or go on the more expensive end if the basic offer isn't working for you. Otherwise, the basic offer can be a good kind of backbone of the members.
Awesome. Thank you for those excellent insights on pricing tips and sharing the barbell strategy. So, Micah, there's been a hotly contested debate over the recent months about how membership websites are consumed and how people are actually implementing what they learned. And so, or there's a community that talks about that the membership area might want to be completely unstructured and that people can have access to all the content at once or at their leisure, full flexibility, while other experts make the claim that it's better to provide structure and guidance and take people through a specific flow through consuming the content. And so again, having supported thousands of membership websites using the membership platform of Memberium, what in your experience has proven to be more effective? Would it be open-ended content consumption or structured or guidelines or some sort of flow of the content?
So even measuring open-ended content consumption would be kind of interesting. But definitely in my experience, it's been the structured content consumption. So when you can put someone into a site and you say, hey, start here, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, they're more likely to go and do it, and they're more likely to get a good result. And sometimes it's just a library. They might go out of order, they might go with something that's too complicated, not realizing there's a beginner's course to get ready for it. There's a lot of problems that can happen, including just plain old overwhelm. Like they don't know where to start, so they don't start. But structured content, and I say this not just because I prefer it, but actually also most of the softwares now, like e-learning and adult education software made for online learning, have structure in them. A lot of them will force what's called a lesson progression, meaning they automatically assume you want lesson 1 to proceed lesson 2. And if they try to go to lesson 2 before doing lesson 1, it doesn't let them. Like that's the assumption of those systems that you need to override. And they have a lot of metrics about completion rates for courses. And even getting through sections and how long people go between logging in and stuff like that. That when you look at it, you have to do everything you can to get them to finish the course. Just turning them loose into an open library content is not going to put any specificity or urgency on them. You really want it specific and linear for both people, so that they'll consume it. And so that for you as a business community might possibly find more.
Excellent insights, Micah. Thank you very much. And so with that being said, what do you recommend as a top membership website expert, Micah, as far as other complementary softwares or other integrations that would benefit a membership website in order to help that person who's building that site to become successful? What integrations or complementary softwares do you recommend to help a membership website owner to succeed?
Yeah, so the one that comes to mind most readily is called LearnDash, and it's really for WordPress. So you probably want to have your site on WordPress, and LearnDash is a WordPress plugin that lets you do all sorts of stuff, not just making the content linear, but making it so people can earn a badge or a certificate when they complete different parts of the content. And there's a lot of other functionality in there. There's quizzing, so they can read content and then take a quiz about it. LearnDash is just an incredible tool. I mean, if you can't use that, then something like it. But that's, having the learning management element, just from your last question too, is so big. I'd recommend LearnDash there. Next, you really need to have great marketing. And so building the best membership site ever, if it doesn't have really good marketing leading into it, probably not going to do that well. You might get lucky and be one of those that, everyone is referred to this site. That also may not last forever. So I would say a system like Infusionsoft to manage your sales and marketing, maybe ActiveCampaign paired with a good shopping cart to manage your sales and marketing. There's so many good options now for purchasing. It's just a matter of whether you can connect that purchasing into your site and then have a good learning experience, which is going to LearnDash.
Well, one of the things that we'd like to ask you about, Micah, is that Facebook has recently spread to millions of users worldwide, and one of their components is something called Facebook groups. Is there any particular reason why people couldn't just use a Facebook group to build out a membership community and be able to grow their influence and following there?
Yeah, it's a great question, because we get asked that a lot. And some people, they love Facebook, right? They're all about it. And it's where everyone is, and so it's easy to do a Facebook group. But for one, I actually do think it's against Facebook's policy to charge people to be in a group. Second, you don't get to control the experience in Facebook. So you don't get to decide how content orders and ranks and how long it stays. Facebook does, and they can change it on you at any time. So that's really more of a community, not a membership site. You can't put all your content on there and rely on Facebook not to do something to it. But it has a lot to do with also Facebook's policy of not charging for it. Because if you just wanted to sell access to a group, it might be fun. I would use that as selling access to a membership site that has a bonus of a group. So you can still have a Facebook group, but have it as a bonus to your membership site.
Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Micah. And so you had mentioned earlier that one of your core values was, measuring success is community success. And so how would you say that your company, Memberium, has contributed to basically helping to make the world maybe a better place? What are you doing to help support your internal community or maybe society at large?
Yeah, so what I love about our customers, our clients, is that they're usually helping somebody to do something. Whether it's be better in business, be a better husband, better father, better in some sort of hobby. They're enriching people's lives through their training. They have kind of hard-won knowledge that they want to pass on through a membership site. So we feel like every membership site that gets built, and the higher that end user count, the more we're helping people connect with their tribe and teach them good things that actually make a difference in their life. So that's one way that we just kind of see that happening in a really broad way. We also really like to watch the growth of our partner program, because as our partners are able to basically, for one, pay us and certify and go through all that effort to build a site, it tells us that it's growing their business too, because they wouldn't do it if they weren't going to be able to set up several sites, right, in the very near future. So we see our partners having success and they tell us about it. We see our customers having success and telling us about it. And we see our numbers growing. And so, looking at all that, it makes us really excited, honestly.
Fantastic, thanks. And it's great to hear that so many people are having success and that you're actually able to provide jobs and potential additional revenue to people who might not otherwise have that opportunity. And so, Micah, you had referenced earlier in the interview that you've had quite a bit of success in empowering those and getting positive feedback. And we're just curious, our viewers might be wondering, has Memberium won any sort of awards, or have they had any sort of accomplishments or achievements that they might not be aware of?
There's probably some that we might not be aware of, but we one that comes to mind is just this last Infusion Con, which is Infusionsoft's big annual thing. One of our partners, named Melody, she went up with one of her clients for a partner showcase. So it's basically where her and different partners competed with their client as a case study to win this award. And she ended up winning, and her client actually helps, I think it's called Mutu, and it helps mothers who have been pregnant, like basically get back in shape. And so it's, the lady who made the site, she went up on stage with Melody and they presented it. So that was a cool award. It's basically a partner showcase award where the whole site was built on Memberium. So it was a big piece of the whole thing. But we didn't necessarily win the award. We just like to claim some credit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, that's amazing that you've been able to not only help this person build out a membership site, you help the partner to be able to help them grow their business successfully. And so it's exciting that people know that the opportunity to build out a successful membership website can really not only enhance their income, but provide amazing value to the end user subscribers in helping them accomplish their goals in life as well. So, Micah, some people might be looking to make the investment into Memberium, and they might be concerned that they might not see some sort of like performance, or that they might not get the results they want. Does Memberium offer any sort of guarantee?
Yeah, we definitely do. So we have a money-back guarantee. It's just kind of no questions asked. Meaning, if you ask for a refund within 30 days, we just give it to you. Sometimes we'll ask, hey, could we have done something better, after giving you the refund? But it's just a very simple guarantee. If you ever get anything from us that you don't want within 30 days, just let us know. We'll send you a full refund, and life goes on. So yeah, we definitely want people to be able to try it out, make sure it works, before considering that transaction totally binding on.
Well, fantastic. It's great to know that you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, and you're willing to offer a money-back guarantee for anybody who's not happy with their experience within 30 days. So, Micah, you're a membership website expert. Again, Memberium is currently supporting thousands of membership websites across the world, reaching over 8 million subscribers and end users across the globe. And so, what do you see being some of the big future trends in the world of online marketing, and specifically regarding membership websites?
So one that's already pretty big, but for anybody who's not already on it, mobile first. I've got a friend who talks a lot about this, has been talking to me about it for years, at least 3 years now. And at the beginning, I was like, okay, that's interesting, but more and more and more, it's been like, wow, that's what you need. And recently, I learned from Justin, the founder of LearnDash, that mobile learning, phones and tablets and stuff, has passed desktop learning for membership sites. So when you make your membership site, you are mostly making it for a mobile user, and that affects the design and layout of the site, but also the length of the content. Right now, some people will have a long video, 30 minutes, maybe more. The best practice now is shorter, and I think it's only going to get shorter because someone might be viewing that video on their phone. They don't want the 15-minute version. They want the 3 or the 5-minute version. So micro content, meaning content's going to get smaller because it's going to be consumed on mobile devices more, is going to be a really big deal. But that also opens up a lot of markets, because not a lot of markets, especially internationally, have more mobile devices than desktops. And so as you optimize for that, and you can really serve a good experience on mobile, you'll do really well. Very awesome.
Awesome. So, Micah, before we wrap today's episode of Social News Interviews, is there anything else that you'd like to add or share with our audience?
Just if you're going to make a membership site, welcome to the family. I hope you have a good time. I hope you enjoy it. I would say don't give up, too. It's a long-range project. Depending on where you're at in your business and what you're doing, if you're considering it, I would really encourage you to, because I've seen a lot of people not just change their business, but really change their lives. And they talk to us about it, and it's a lot of fun. We're just one piece. They're doing all the work and the sales and the marketing, and they have a bunch of other softwares. But a membership site really can change your life. And I know that's kind of like salesy. Like I said, I know I'm biased toward Memberium. But I'm saying if you do it right, if you get it right, that just kind of passive income, that one-to-many where you can do a piece of work once and sell it many times, having that ability and that skill set is only going to come in handy more and more and more. So definitely get started if you can.
Well, awesome. So, Micah, thank you for being a guest on today's episode of Social News Interviews.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Awesome. And again, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Social News Interviews. Our guest today was Micah Mitchell, a top membership website expert, the co-founder of Memberium.com, and who has just recently launched membership.coach. So if you're interested in getting more information about Memberium, visit Memberium.com. Or if you'd like to learn more about how to build and run a successful membership enterprise, visit membership.coach. Again, thank you for being a part of our audience today, and we look forward to seeing you on the next edition of Social News Interviews. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.